Good morning. It's getting really hot already, so I'm going to go ahead and get right to it. The last video I was working on was installing a 3-port boost solenoid, and I have this problem. I keep accidentally formatting my memory card, and I lost all the footage, almost all the footage of installing the 3-port boost solenoid. So unfortunately, I don't have any of the step-by-step footage of installing the solenoid, but I'll go ahead and give you a summary and kind of a quick rundown of how I installed it. Super easy install. It's pretty much a plug and play. The only thing you have to do is run a few extra lines, but that's pretty much it. So if you can see it right in here, this is the Grimmspeed 3-port boost solenoid. I do want to mention that if you have the stock airbox, because it goes right here, you don't really have a whole lot of room right here. You will probably have to remove it. I even had to remove my cold air intake just to make things a little bit easier. It just gives you a little bit more room because you have 2 bolts you have to take off, one on the top and then one on the bottom, and it's hard to fit a ratchet in here, especially if you have the stock airbox. But really, that's all there is to it. You take the 2 bolts off, and then you have these little rubber grommets right here that come off of the old boost solenoid. You'll want to transfer them over to this new Grimmspeed one and then use bolt it back up. And if you can see right down here, this is the plug, just plugs right in. You don't have to do any custom wiring or anything like that. And then the hardest part beyond that is just running these rubber lines, because the kit doesn't actually come with any routing instructions, so I did have to Google it to figure out which ones go which, but I'll go ahead and throw it in the description as well as give you a quick rundown of where they go right now. So the top port right here, the solenoid, is going to be going over to the intake right over here. I used a bit of silicone hose and zip tied it in just to make sure it has a good seal to it. If you have the stock hosing, you'll have like a little adapter. Mine just didn't come with that. And then the middle port right here is going to run over here, and it's kind of hard to see, but right down in there, that is the turbo compressor side, and it goes onto that port right there. And then the bottom port on the solenoid comes right down over here and goes into the wastegate port. And it's really easy to route all the lines. I just have them going under the plugs right here. They all just bunch together right here, go under these hoses, and then they branch out right here. So like I said, super easy install. It's not legal in California, as with a lot of mods, because it's not carb compliant. So you just want to make sure, depending on your state, whether or not it'll be legal or not. And I do want to mention that after installing the solenoid, you do have to tune your car. It's going to keep your boost levels more precise, and it'll help keep your turbo from over boosting. Really, the only fix to help keep the turbo from over boosting is to add an external wastegate or just upgrade your turbo. But that being said, they do supply you with everything you need, and they supply you with more than enough line. I had a little bit extra, not enough to make a big mistake, but if you make a little mistake in routing or something like that, you'll have enough to be able to fix it. But today, what I'm going to be getting done is painting the exhaust. Because I fabricated the exhaust myself and I used mild steel tubing, I need to protect it. So when I'm driving it in the rain or anything like that, it's not going to rust. We don't have a lot of rust where I live, but as soon as we get out of the summer and it starts raining, I want to make sure that it's protected from any rust or anything like that. So what I decided to do is I went ahead and picked up this satin clear high temp clear coat. I like the look of just the plain natural tubing. I don't want to paint it black or anything like that. You do want to make sure that you have the really high heat paint like I have right here. Your exhaust components get very, very hot, so you definitely need a paint that can withstand that. Otherwise, you'll just burn it off. You're not going to have any protection. And not to mention, you want to make sure you get the right stuff, because it's probably not the best thing to breathe in if you're just burning it off. So what that means is I need to jack this thing up and pull that exhaust off, which really isn't that hard. But I haven't had anything to eat today, so I picked up this breakfast sandwich. So I'm going to go ahead and eat that real fast, and then we'll get to work. Car's all jacked up. I'm gonna run home real fast, swap into shorts because it's getting stupid hot, and pants were a very bad idea. And then we'll get this thing done, so I'll see you in a minute. I'm back. Got my shorts. Let's get this exhaust off. As you can probably tell, it has gotten very, very hot, but the really hard work is almost over. As you can see, the exhaust is out, and what I'm gonna do first, I have this wire wheel on my angle grinder, and I'm just gonna go through and kind of clean up the welds. All of these were shipped with stickers on there, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up as well. And it shouldn't take too long, it should be pretty easy. And then we'll go ahead and paint it, which is the easy part, but it's also kind of the sucky part because you have to wait for all the coats to dry, and then at the end you have to wait before you can actually put it back on the car. But let's get this thing cleaned up. Now that this thing's all clean, it's time to get this thing painted. The instructions say that you should do a couple light coats and then one medium coat. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. And then the can's saying that it can be handled in 3 hours. And at that point, you have to throw it on the car, and then you have to follow a curing sequence, which involves turning the car on, letting it idle, then letting it cool down. So it is a little bit of a process, but it'll be worth it because there's nothing to protect the exhaust, and I want this thing to last as long as possible. But first, I need to figure out how to hang this thing. I need to go find a little bit of twine or something like that, and I'll be able to paint the whole thing without having to flip it over or anything like that. All right, so this is what I came up with. It's super jank, but it works. I used a couple cam lock straps, and we have the tetherball pole that has just been hanging around the house. And so I went ahead and just hooked it to the end of each side so that it's in the air and I can get around the whole thing. But that's fine, and it'll be way easier than trying to do it on the sawhorses and flipping it and dealing with that. So this way I can just do it 360 in one go, and it'll be able to hang here and dry for the 3 hours before I put it back on the car as well. So let's start getting this thing painted. Well, here we are, guys. It's all done, paint's all dry. Doesn't look any different, but it's protected now. So now all we have to do is I have to throw it back on the car, and then there's a curing sequence that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to run the car for 10 minutes and let it cool off for 10 minutes. Do that again for 20 minutes, let it cool off for 20 minutes, and then drive the car around for 30 minutes. But it's super easy to do, and you guys definitely don't need me to show you that. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that on and go through the whole curing process. But I'll see you guys in the next one.